Hi, I'm Luke Beach, an admissions recruiter here at Rochester University, and we're so glad that you can join us for our Accelerated Learning Programs webinar series. If you would like more information anytime throughout this video, make sure to scan the QR code located on the screen. This will take you to a visit request form and connect you with one of our accelerated admissions recruiters. We are so excited to be joined by Kara Miller, who is the Director of Student Financial Services. Kara, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for letting me speak and explain more about our office, and hopefully that will help students through the process.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate having you on, and I'm going to go ahead and just jump on in. So the financial aid process is always important when you're thinking of either going back to school or completing your degree. Could you tell us a little bit more about what type of aid is available to our online students?
Sure. Well, within the financial aid office, we obviously are going to help you finance your education. And these are the types of aid that we have available to our AL students. We have grants, and that is free money that you do not need to repay. That's federal funds, Pell Grant, the supplemental grant, which we call COG. And then we have state grants, the Michigan Tuition Grant or Michigan Competitive Scholarship. We have TIP funds if you happen to be a student that still has eligibility left for that. And you can secure outside scholarships, either from your employer or other organization. We often call those vouchers. You'll get a tuition voucher from your employer, or they have a tuition assistance plan. So those are terminology that you will hear from your employer. Sometimes the employer requires that you pay up front and then get reimbursed, or other employers, you actually, when you turn in that voucher to us, we submit an invoice to them and they pay us directly and leave you out of that loop. If you have any personal savings, if you have the Michigan Education Trust, which is the MET, typically that will be someone that was coming straight from high school, but you may still have funds available for your own personal savings. Federal loans, if you file the FAFSA form, you will, as long as you don't have any loans in default, you'll be able to take out a federal loan, which would be a Stafford subsidized or unsubsidized. And if you're a dependent student, then there's the Parent Plus loan. There's also private loans. Sometimes you also hear the word alternative loan. That would be like Sally Mae, Discover. There's multiple lenders out there. We do have a website on our main page that you can use to see what companies are out there, or you could also go through a credit union if you have a relationship already established and see if they have student loans available to you. And anything that's a loan, you're going to have to repay that. So just keep that in mind. Loans are repaid. Anything that's a grant or a scholarship, then that is funds that you do not have to repay. And then we do accept veterans benefits at our institution. So if you qualify for education benefits, submit your eligibility letter to me. I'm actually also our school certifying official, and I will help certify those benefits for you. And depending on which benefit you get, the funds either come directly to the college or you get a stipend. And then if you still owe a balance, then you would use that stipend to help pay your bill.
Awesome. That is all great information for our students to know. And Kara, as you know, so many of our students are working professionals or they have families, and oftentimes the financial aid process can be intimidating. Could you walk us through what to expect when you're applying for financial aid?
Sure. Well, obviously, many of our students are transfer students. They're not first-time students, so the term FAFSA should be familiar to you. You're always going to want to file a FAFSA for the current school year. If you're wanting to come in mid-semester through the spring, then you would file a 2021 FAFSA, or if you're applying for next fall, then you would start filing your 21-22 FAFSA. And that already began on October 1st. So you would put our school code on FAFSA form, which is 00228800. And then as you're filing the FAFSA form, it'll determine whether you're a dependent student or independent student. You'll put in tax information. And if at any time you're filing the FAFSA and you have difficulty, you can contact our office or the FAFSA folks. We call them more experts than our office. Sometimes there's questions that even stump us and we have to reach out to them and contact them at 800-4FED-AID, or they do have an online chat available through studentaid.gov. Filing the FAFSA, it's kind of the whole reason you file the FAFSA is to see what aid you're eligible for, whether you're eligible for the Pell Grants, the supplemental grant loans, whether they're subsidized or unsubsidized, or a combination of both. So there's some brief information you can review here. We list our interest rate or the federal interest rates for the current school year. And anytime you take out a federal loan, there is a origination fee. So if your loan is say $3,500, there is going to be a little bit of an origination fee. This 1.057% is going to come off of that. So the net amount of the loan is always going to be a little bit less than the gross amount. And that's just to keep in mind. How much are you eligible for? If you're a freshman and you're a dependent student, and dependent students are basically if you're not married, you're under 24, and this is regardless of whether or not your parents are actually supporting you, even if you're living on your own and you're supporting yourself. If you're not married, you don't have children, you don't meet any of the other dependency questions, then you're considered dependent. Then as a freshman, you can get a max of $3,500 and subsidized, $2,000 unsubsidized. And if you're an independent student, meaning you're married, have children over 24, you meet the other eligibility questions, then your unsubsidized loan increases. So you'll see the subsidized amount is the same, but the unsubsidized is higher. And then as you go from sophomore to junior to senior, you get a little bit more each time. So a sophomore would be able to get $4,500 in subsidized loan, and a junior and senior would be able to get $5,500 in the subsidized loan and $7,000 in unsubsidized loan. And this is true no matter what college you attend. So whether you're at Rochester or another college, these loan amounts do not change per institution. Once you file FAFSA, and if you're accepting the student loans, you'll need to complete a promissory note, entrance counseling. I'll show you in a minute, studentloans.gov. That's kind of the mother hub of everything financial aid related when it comes to FAFSA, filling out forms, parent loan information. It's all going to be housed on studentloans.gov. It used to be a bunch of different websites, and within the last year, they kind of revamped it and condensed it all into one site, so it was easier to see. There are some maximum eligibility amounts for loans. As an undergraduate student, the max loans you can have throughout your entire career would be $31,000 if you're a dependent student, and $57,500 as an independent student. So whether you took all of your classes at Rochester or you transferred some from multiple institutions and you received loans at other places, the max amount of loans you can receive for an undergraduate degree is $57,500. At any institution you go to, you will have to maintain satisfactory academic progress, meaning you need to maintain a 2.0 GPA or higher. You need to complete each semester, you need to complete at least 67% of the classes that you are attempting. So you need to make sure that when you're withdrawing or dropping, adding classes, that you keep that in mind. And then there's also 150% duration. So if you're out there taking loans at multiple institutions and you haven't 150% of, so if it's 120 hours and you haven't completed your degree by the amount of time you've taken 180 credit hours, then you've kind of reached your maximum amount of eligibility for a subsidized loan. Anything after that would be an unsubsidized loan. So that was some information to keep in mind, but this will be more of the actual steps of process here. You're going to complete your FAFSA using the school code that I mentioned in the previous slides, 00228800. Once we get your FAFSA form, you're going to complete any missing items, and you'll know if you have a missing item because you'll start receiving emails from our office. Each week, automated emails go out saying you need to complete verification. There's a social security number mismatch. Maybe the degree type that you are going for wasn't labeled correctly. You said you didn't file your taxes yet. And so there could be a multitude of reasons of why there would be a missing item email, but you will receive that information from our office, and we'll ask you to complete those items. And once each item is completed, so if you only have one, or if you have 3 or 4, once all of them are completed in our system, then we will email you your award letter. So you'll receive an email from our office saying, congratulations, you've been packaged with financial aid. It'll give you the steps to go and accept or deny the aid on the student portal, which is the myrochesteru.edu. If you're taking out loans, you'll complete the promissory note, entrance counseling, and that's a one-time only. Promissory notes and entrance counseling is good for 10 years. So once you do it, it's good for 10 years. And new this coming year, so for 21-22, there is a new requirement in addition to entrance counseling and promissory note called annual student loan acknowledgement. It's also done on studentaid.gov, and it will be done annually. So before you can receive any kind of loan disbursement, you have to complete this session on the website. And it's basically saying that you understand, further understanding that you're taking out a loan. It will tell you how much loans you have to date. So if you've been at multiple places, you can see all of the loans in aggregate that you've had together. And again, we cannot disperse any aid until all of those items are completed. If you have enough money on your account, you will receive a book voucher. Again, all the above steps have to be completed. You have to accept all your aid, complete all the forms. And if all of your aid leaves you a credit balance, we will send you a book voucher by email to use on our online bookstore for MBS. Once the semester begins, we start bringing in all of that financial aid, and it'll start to post to your account. You'll see that through your billing account on the myrochesteru.edu. And if once all of those funds are in and you are due a refund, we will automatically submit that to the business office for you. And it will take about 10 to 14 days for that refund to be mailed to your house. And I did want to note that any aid from the state or outside sources will generally come in much later. So like the Michigan tuition grant, and if you have like teach funds, those get paid either towards the end of the semester or not even till the following semester. We cannot give refunds until we actually get the money in hand. So potentially you may not receive your refund check until the end of the semester, the following semester, or you might get multiple checks. So if you had enough aid from your federal aid to have a refund, we would go ahead and send that credit to you. And then as the other funds come in, we would give you additional refunds as necessary. Now, not everyone will have enough financial aid to cover their balance. And when you're looking on the portal, we'll call it the student portal, when you're looking at your billing on the portal, your total charges for the semester, and that includes anything for session A and session B. You register for the semester, which includes the 2 sessions. So you may have classes in A and B, or A only or B only, but all of that combined is how you're packaged and how you're billed. Minus your financial aid is your total billing balance. So if after your financial aid you still owe money, then you can pay in full by our due date, which is the Friday before the semester begins, or you can be set up on a payment plan. It's a $75 fee. You pay the first installment on the due date, which is again the Friday before classes start, and then you have 2 remaining payments after that. Or if you have the financial aid to cover everything. Oh, we're not to that question yet.
Okay, this is perfect. So as we transition to our final question, so many of our early childhood studies students take advantage of the Teach Scholarship. So could you just tell us a little bit more about the Teach Scholarship and what our early childhood studies students should expect?
Sure. Yeah, Teach, we have currently this semester, we have 64 students receiving the Teach Scholarship. So it's a big opportunity for students in that field to receive funding for their education. And we work very closely with that office. And the above is the link to the Teach website. And you'll I won't go through all of these items here, but if you meet the criteria for the Teach Scholarship, then kind of the last bullet point there is you would be responsible for applying for the scholarship and submitting your schedule and documentation to your counselor through Teach. And once they approve it, then they will send a copy of that approval to our office. They email it to us, and then we kind of take it from there. We apply that as a scholarship on your account. You'll get an updated award letter from us saying we've added something to your account, and you will go on the portal and accept the award. And then we will invoice them. We do wait until the add drop period ends each semester, and that would be the end of B. So as of the end of session B, drop period ends, we would then invoice Teach, and then it takes them approximately 10 to 12 weeks to pay us. So when I was saying before how sometimes scholarship money doesn't come in until the following semester, Teach is one of those. I don't think we've ever received it before the semester ended because the turnaround time is just not quick enough. But the funds do come and it helps pay your balance, and that's a great resource.
Well, Carol, we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through the financial aid process. And we really enjoyed having you on.
Yep, you're welcome.
Well, thank you to everyone out there who joined us today. Just a final reminder that if you want to schedule an in-person or a virtual meeting with one of our accelerated admissions recruiters, make sure to scan that QR code on the left side of your screen, and make sure to keep looking for our accelerated learning webinar series as we continue to dive into all things accelerated learning. Thank you again, and we will see you soon.
All right, thank you.